Well, hello there, everyone. How are you all doing this terrific Tuesday, which is May the 16th, year 2023? Hopefully doing outstanding. We're now on the downhill side of the month of May, aren't we? Yes. So no matter where, if you're in the U.S., spring is almost here. Well, spring's here, meaning the weather of spring is almost here. It depends on where you're at, or if you're where I am, it's summertime temperatures. And summer will be here in just over a month, I do believe. So I'm going to talk a little bit today about how do you buy your first house. Notice I don't say your first rental or your first house to live in, because it's all very similar, okay? So with that being said, I am Mazske Finance. I am not a financial advisor, I'm not a CPA, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist. Okay, I'm just a guy that wants to help you out. That's all I want to do is help you out. So if I ever say something that might offend you, rub you the wrong way, anything at all I'm trying to do is be honest, transparent, and share information about how I've been able to create my own wealth, and with the goal of helping you out. That doesn't mean you're always going to agree with me. That's fine, because we're all different, aren't we? Okay, so with that being said, how do you buy your first house? There's a couple things in common. The first thing you need to do, or a couple things you need to do in no particular order, is you need to have a job. You need to have some sort of income coming in to qualify for a mortgage. Okay, we're going to assume you're not wealthy enough where you have a whole bunch of cash in the bank and you just pay cash for a house. Okay, so you got to have income coming in some way. Okay, hopefully that's a given. Another thing you should do is see what your credit score is. Okay, you can do it the official credit score. There's like 3 credit bureaus and there's ways you can do it. Or just sign up for something like Credit Karma. Different credit cards will give you a credit score. It might not be 100% accurate, but it'll give you a good ballpark range. I'll give you an example. My credit score right now is about 820. Why is my credit score 820? Back when I had paid off my house and had no debt at all, my credit score was in, I think, the high 600s. I had one credit card for like 30 years, and it was in the high 600s. That didn't make any sense to me. I know why it is now. They designed the credit score that the more debt you have and you responsibly pay it, your credit score seems to go up. What do I have? I have a variety of mortgages. I pay them every month. So every month the principal balance goes down. I have probably 15 to 20 credit cards. So my credit limit is big with credit cards. The bigger my credit limit gets, and if I pay them off in full every month, the smaller, it's like I have more credit available that I'm not using or I'm using responsibly. Okay, so my credit score goes up. I'm not telling you to go out and get 20 credit cards, nothing like that. But I'm suggesting, if you have 1 credit card, go get a second. If you have 2 credit cards, get a third. If you have 3, get a fourth, and so on and so on and so on. But do it responsibly. Never pay interest, okay? Meaning always pay your bill in full every single month. The only exception would be if you have 0% interest for 12 months, 15 months, 18 months, something like that. Maybe, just maybe, if you understand how to do it, you have a balance transfer, let's say, or you buy something really big and you can do it responsibly. You keep it on that 0% credit card interest for those 12 months, 15 months, 18 months. Treat it as an interest-free loan, and by the end of that free 0% interest, you pay it off. That's the only time you don't pay it in full every month, okay? So if you cannot pay your credit card bill in full every month, do not get another credit card. If you have outstanding credit card debt, before you buy your first house, try to pay that debt down, okay? Because when you go apply for a mortgage, they look at something that's called your debt to income ratio, okay? How much debt do you have versus how much you want to borrow? Based on your income, you're going to qualify for such and such of a mortgage, whatever that mortgage is. If you have a $500 a month car payment, a $300 a month credit card payment, okay, that's $800 right there. That's less of a mortgage you qualify for. So the better you can control your debt, meaning, I didn't mention it yet, if you have a car loan, try to pay this car loan down and off. Try not to use car loans except when you really have to. Do not buy a new car every couple years. Do not get a car loan for 5 years and at the end of 5 years, buy a new car and start it all over again. I'm a multimillionaire. The car I drive every day, I just drove it this morning, is a 2009 Toyota Camry. Okay? And I can afford to buy something nicer. I don't. I will eventually, but I don't yet. Okay? The next thing you got to do, along with doing all this stuff, you need to save up a down payment. Even if you're buying and you're going to move into your house to live in, you might, depends on your loan, you may have to put 3.5% down, you may have to put 5% down. Maybe you get a VA loan. I'm a veteran, I got a VA loan. Maybe you put 0% down. But even if you put 0% down, you need some money in the bank, because as soon as you buy a house, something's going to go wrong. It's something. The faucet breaks, the sewer line clogs up, the storm comes and blows shingles off your roof. Something will happen. So you got to have some money in the bank. We call it, in real estate investing, we call it cash reserves. Okay? So you got to have that down payment. If you are buying an investment property and you're not going to be living in it, I'll get back to that in just a second. If you're not going to be living in it, your down payment will probably be at least 20% or 25% of the mortgage balance. Okay? The price of the house. Yeah, the price of the house, basically. 20 or 25%. So if you're buying a house for $100,000, you need to save up at least $20,000, if not $25,000. But you also got to pay closing costs, which can be a couple $1,000s more. Okay? Talk to your lender about this, about your own particular situation. They can give you a breakdown on exactly how much you will need to have. Okay? Getting back to the down payment and if it's an investment property or not. How can you buy an investment property and not put 20 or 25% down? Here's the secret. You buy a duplex, a triplex, or a quadplex. Or maybe, and we don't talk about this much, maybe you buy a single family home that has an extra bedroom in it. Why do you buy one of these? Because any of those, you can get it counts as a residential mortgage. You can get if you're first time buying a home, you get a first time home buyer's loan or something. You can get a program, probably, I can't guarantee it, where you may be able to put 3.5% down or 5% down or a smaller amount down. Maybe you're military, you get a VA loan, put 0% down. But it means if you get a residential loan, you pay the better interest rate. Investment properties have a higher interest rate, anywhere from 0.5% to a full percent or even higher. Okay? So if you can live in the property, and all you got to do is live in it for 1 year, and then you can always move if you want to. If you can live in it, here's the beauty of it. I was telling this to a young man I know who works in a local grocery store just yesterday. Say you buy a duplex. Depends on your market. You live on one side. The rent that your tenant on the other side pays may cover most or all of your mortgage. Do you understand that? If the rent you receive from your tenant and you're living in the same building pays most or all of your mortgage, you are living perhaps for free or almost for free. And if you can eliminate your housing payment, you have so much more money in your pocket, right? And it means if you want to save up that 20%, that 25%, now you eliminate your housing payment, so you have that extra however much money that you're not spending on rent or a mortgage that you can now save up. Okay? Always remember, you got to have cash reserves. Okay? Always remember, if you have any kind of investment property, be it the duplex you're living in, the triplex, the quadplex, or you have a single family home and you're renting out 1 or 2 bedrooms in it, okay? It's kind of falls under the same umbrella. You got to remember to hold out money for a couple of different things. You got to hold out money. If you're not living in it and you're self-managing, that's one thing. But still account for if you got to pay a property manager, because maybe you do move out and you got to pay a property manager. Just hold out 10%. Vacancies, repairs, and capital expenditures. I've harped on these over a number of videos. Vacancies. If the unit goes vacant, you still got to pay the mortgage, but you don't have the rent coming in. You got to have money saved up to cover that, because it will go vacant at some point. Repairs. Kitchen sink starts leaking, toilet starts running constantly. That's a repair. You have to fix it because you're the landlord. Capital expenditures. What do I mean by that? It's the big ticket items. Hot water heaters, roofs, air conditioners, furnaces. The things that are more expensive that don't break as frequently, but they do wear out at some point. You need to save up the money. So an easy way to do it is hold out 20% for these 3 categories. Like 7, 6%, 7%, 7%, that's 14%, and 6%, that makes it 20%. okay? Property manager 30%. So whatever your rent is, before you do anything else, take 30% of that rent, stick it in the bank. And maybe you got to pay your property manager 10%, but maybe you're self-managing, but still stick it in the bank and let it add up, because you will need it one day to pay for repairs and capital expenditures, okay? If you already have a home and you want to buy investment property and you know financially you qualify for a mortgage, then you got to save up that down payment, okay? You still got to get your credit scores good. You got to pay off extra loans, pay off credit card debt, so on and so on. But if you do these steps, and in my mind they're simple steps, but for some people they're complicated. You don't have to buy a rental house today. You don't have to buy it next week, next month. The clock keeps ticking. Whatever age you are, you haven't bought one yet, right? Or maybe you have. If it takes you 2 years to save up to buy your first rental property, so be it. Because if you don't start today, 2 years is still going to pass on by. And 2 years from now, you'll be like, oh man, I wish I had started. Let me start now. But now you're 2 years down the road. That's why it's so important to start today. Okay? So let me know below if you can get started. Let me know below if I can help you out. My email address is always in the description below if you have any questions. I do get a lot of emails in, so if I'm slow to respond, I will respond. I get more comments now than I used to, and I will respond, but I may be slow to respond. Okay? So that being said, have a great day. Mazskes signing out.